as a raw food, as a bit of a health nut, what do you do about contraception? Do you use condoms, the pull-out method, the pill, IUDs? What do you use? I don't use anything. I've just had a vasectomy about 6 years ago now. Have I any regrets? Not a single one. Definitely one of the best things I've done in that area of my life. Definitely. I mean, people say, Harley, that's not natural. And it's like, wearing clothes isn't natural. Talking to a computer isn't natural. Working online isn't natural. Riding a bike isn't natural. Wearing shoes isn't natural. I'm not into natural 100%. I'm into health more and fitness more. I use nature as a guideline, but not as an absolute, if that makes sense. Because if I use nature as an absolute, I wouldn't sleep in a bed. I wouldn't wear clothing. I wouldn't drink out of glass or plastic or use utensils or use blenders or use a car or use a bicycle or use running shoes. I wouldn't do 24-hour races. I wouldn't use B12 injections. I wouldn't do a lot of these things that we all do to some degree. So nature as a guide, but not for me as an absolute. Health and fitness before that. Because otherwise you could have an accident, rip your leg open, and the surgeon's going to say, we're going to give you some painkillers to do surgery on you. Otherwise we won't, because you'll be jumping on the bed. And say, oh, I'm into nature, no anesthetic, please. It's not going to happen. So, like in nature, you wouldn't have an ambulance. If I have an accident on my bike or whatever, I want an ambulance to get me there and do what they have to do to save me. I don't want to just die on the side of the road and say, I'm into nature, man. I'm not into that sort of stuff. So just, yeah, common sense things. So someone's asked me a question about this vasectomy thing. They're curious. They're going, Harley, tell me more about this. One of the questions is, did you use a local anesthetic for your procedure? And yes, I used a local one versus a general. What's the difference? Local is just like if they inject you in your hand, you can't feel your hand anymore until the operation is obviously done. General is when your whole body, you are unconscious, you're out of it, you can't feel anything, you're in a sleep state. So local is a lot less toxins for your body to deal with. It's a bit more pain, but it's not really much pain, you know what I mean? It's just dull aching. So definitely I recommend the local anesthetic versus a general anesthetic for a vasectomy. Less complications there. Next question was, how much does it cost? Under Australia, we've got the Medicare system. I waited a while. I think it's about $300-400 if you want it done today. So it's nothing, really. It's nothing. Have I had any side effects? Actually, I rode my bicycle to and from the surgery, which is something I do not recommend people do. I'm just a bit of a bike nut, so, And a week later, I entered a 24-hour mountain bike race, which I did pull out of because I did one lap and I was like, nah, this is silly. But I always like to have a go, versus making my mind up beforehand. The only issues I've had is like a little, incy-wincy bit of pain. But that's probably because I do a lot of cycling. And cycling is definitely not natural, but it's very effective in today's society for keeping fit, transporting yourself, being good for the planet, good for the environment, meeting people, things like that. So definitely no real issues there. Next question is regarding vasectomy. Was I given an option of what technique I wanted? Did I get no scalpel, close end, clamp, the burn off, whatever? I didn't get any options, but I'd done a lot of homework beforehand. And the method they used, which was just pretty much snip, cut, burn, tie it together, stitch it back up. That was the method they used, and that's the method I was happy with. So I wasn't given any options, but the only option they had was the one I was already happy with, so easy. It's all pretty much of a muchness. Jump on the net, do your own homework. There's no real pros and cons to either. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward. It's like opening a banana. You can open it from the top or you can open it from the bottom. Much of muchness. How did you find a good doctor? I mean, generally the surgeon who interviews you isn't the surgeon who'll be operating on you. So it's a bit of faith there, It's sort of again, it's a pretty straightforward procedure. Nothing too serious. Are you able to have more sex now than before? Definitely. And it's not about becoming a player or going, yeah, I can't get any chick pregnant, so I'll just play the scene. I know a lot of guys who do that. Definitely that's not what I'm into. I didn't want to have children. I've spent a little bit of time in Cambodia in orphanages and hanging out, and I'd rather be a foster parent or adopt than have my own biological children. That's just my personal opinion. It's not a, whatever and anyone else. That's just what I like to do. I see the challenges friends and family have with raising kids in today's world, being conscious parents. That's not what I want to do. I've got other things to do. So have I been able to have more sex? Definitely, because when you have a vasectomy, man, it creates a whole new spontaneous presence about your sex life. All of a sudden, it's sort of like, there's no like, oh, what about contraception? It's like, you want to get it, I want to get it, let's do it now, no problems, you know what I mean? It's just boom. And when you're in a committed relationship like I am, it's just like, it just takes care of everything. It's like, you know, you're giving a gift to the partner of complication-free sex in a monogamous, committed relationship. It is like such a great gift to give. So I encourage guys out there, do your homework, think about it, get the snip. Another question is, has your sex drive diminished after having a vasectomy? No way, my sex drive's like, because all of a sudden it's like you're firing a gun with no bullets. It's more fun. You're not going to hurt anybody. There's no complications. It's just bang, bang, bang. Literally, pun intended, bang, bang, bang. No problems there, you know what I mean? So has my sex life gone up with my partner? Definitely, man. It is where it's at. It's because there's none of this fear in your back of your head going, oh my God, you know, I don't want to have kids now, but, you know, I love this person, but I don't have kids. There's this constant conflict, just gets dissolved, taken away. So it's just unbridled passion with no consequence, if that makes sense. Definitely. So why do I want to have kids? You know, I've committed my life to helping people get healthy and fit, helping themselves do that. So having children, it takes away from that, you know. And some people say, Harley, but I've got a lousy partner, I've got these crazy kids. You know, you don't understand my situation. If I could have your lifestyle, I could work on my personal growth. No, wrong. Your lousy partner and your crazy kids, they are your personal growth. What you already have now is what you're meant to have. What you have now is what you're meant to have. You know, the universal God or whatever you believe in has given you that, so you work with that. That is your personal growth. Don't get rid of your partner or kids that have personal growth, because they are your personal growth, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? If you already got them, you've got them. It's not like a bicycle where you can take it back to the shop and say, I want my money back. If you've got kids, that's your personal growth. You know what I mean? If you've got kids, you've got them, man. So you work with that, you deal with that, and you make it work. You make it a gift versus a burden. I don't have children, and I never wanted them. That's why I had a vasectomy. Simple as that. You can't take it back, so work with it. That's your gift. It's not your burden. Hope that makes sense. And for me, I mean, there's so many children on the planet who don't have any parents or don't have anyone who really cares about or love them. Even adults, so few of us have people around us who care about us that much to really tell us what we need to hear. You know, most people just like brush us off, tell us what we want to hear versus what we need to hear. And I'm thinking, hang on, you know, if I've got children, I can't do what I'm doing. You know, I couldn't run the website, I couldn't be who I am if I had children, because all of a sudden, having children is the greatest responsibility on the planet. There's no greater responsibility than having children. People forget this, think, oh, I want to have some kids and that. It's like, man, do you know what you're getting yourself into? It's hardcore. Ask any parent out there. And I don't even have children, so I can't even really talk from experience. I'm just talking from observation of what I see my friends and my parents went through, and my family and my social scene, what I see them go through as conscious parents or parents who actually care. It's a hardcore job, man. It's like literally running a double marathon every day. And I've looked after kids a little bit, and I've run marathons, and give me the marathon any day. So you need to eat a shitload more carbohydrate calories, get more sleep, get more water, get some exercise, get fit so you can handle the adventures of kids bring into your life. Because, man, you need it more than I do. You need more calories than I do, man, because I can just literally have a 10-week holiday, just sit on the beach and look at hermit crabs. You know what I mean? Study hermit crabs for 10 weeks and read a book 50 times over. I literally can do that. I don't have children to take up all the carbohydrate calories and my constant thought processes and worry and all that stuff and passion and that. You know what I mean? So if you got kids, you need a crap load more calories, sleep and water. Carbohydrate calories, sleep and water. You need that if you've got kids. Or if you want to have kids. If you got kids in the post, more carbs, more sleep, more water, definitely. So another question the person asked me is, since I've hit 40, I feel really drained after sex, and the fatigue can last for a week or two. I don't know, maybe I'll get the man flu after sex. I read about this a couple of weeks ago where some men are allergic to their own sperm, but that's another issue perhaps to investigate later. The fatigue is sometimes so bad, I've been experimenting with being celibate, but the most I last is 8 weeks, and that's no fun anyway. post-fatigued after sex, I mean, it's sort of like, generally if it's shallow sex, you know what I mean? If it's empty sex, you're just getting your rocks off. You know, there's no love, there's no connection there. It's just like, blah, blah, blah. You know, you're the 2-minute hamster, and then, you know, But when you're in a committed relationship with someone you care about, you love, sex is a gift, it's a joy, it's a exercise, sports sex, whatever you want to call it. It's fun. It should give you a sense of well-being. It's healthy. So I think this person who wrote into me, my suggestion is only have sex with people, partners you're committed to, like you have a connection with. Don't have shallow sex, cheap sex, easy sex, whatever. It's just, you're better off just getting close with your hand, you know what I mean? That's my suggestion, because I can honestly say I've been in both sort of scenes, and sex with a committed partner, monogamous sort of long-term relationships, a lot more fulfilling and genuine and caring, wholesome, energizing versus enervating with someone you're just talking crap to get them in the sack and 2-minute hamster and, you know, whatever. So that's my tip. I don't think a vasectomy is going to cure your post-sex fatigue. I think what's going to cure it is getting a more holistic relationship. You know, writing down a list of ideals you must have in a partner and getting that partner, and also becoming that person you want to attract. Because we can obtain someone, but we can't sustain them unless we're also what they want, if that makes any sense. So have a list of what you must have in a partner, have a list of what you must be in order to attract that partner, to obtain them and sustain them. And then when you're having intimate relationships with that person, it's a whole new thing. It's like a rusty, crappy bicycle that someone's just given to you because you don't want to walk, versus a bicycle that's, you're clean and perfect, air pressure's all good, tires are pumped up, the seat height's right. That's a lot different experience. You're still riding the bike, you're still having sex, but one's going to be a lot better experience than the other. You know what I mean? One's going to be like, when's this over? The other one's going to be, wow, I don't want this to be over ever. Hope that makes sense. Vasectomy, 2 thumbs up, Durianrider rating, man. Get it, research it. Don't just jump into it and regret it. Do something. It's a one-way street. People say you could reverse a vasectomy. You know, you're pretty young, Harley. I was 27, 26 when I had my vasectomy. You know, I thought about it a long time. I just didn't jump into it. But if you've been thinking about it for a long time, maybe it's time for you to jump into that. It's not a procedure where you go in and thinking, oh, I can get it reversed. It's a one-way street. Go in that with full commitment. And don't just do it overnight, you know, unless you've been thinking about it for a long time. But if it's just entered your consciousness, think about it for a bit. Write down the pros and cons, meditate on it, think about it, have a focus on that, you know, talk with your partner about that. You know, because people change, man, people change. Some people don't want to have kids, and then they have them. And they think, oh, if I have kids, that make me like, boy, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, another topic for another video, perhaps. So just think about it, you know what I mean? Think about it deeply, with conscious thought, with effort. Be carbed up when you think about it. Be hydrated, be well slept for a couple of months. And then, if that's what you want to do, commit to it and don't look back. So yeah, for me, having a vasectomy, like I said, double thumbs up. So heck with condoms, heck with the pill, committed relationship, vasectomy, that's what I'm into. Thanks for watching. Hope that answers the questions.